Obviously, they're not saying
Can we
anything, but I
please
pretend they
change that or something? Like,
are. Lewis Laskin and Byron King. Yeah, why did we get this? Yeah, do we have any idea why we're getting someone scooped? Okay.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
So we got a scoop.
All right. So,
We definitely need to.
they're both chilling out right there, like a little. We were so excited to watch that match.
No one else was.
What do you mean no one?
They
Like,
said it was just going to probably draw naturally.
yeah, well, we want one of those guys at some point. We want to see one of those decks on camera.
Yeah, next round. I mean, this is the same deck, so
Yeah, since it was a mirror, that's the problem.
one of those decks next round. We hope and we hopefully promise.
Yeah. So you disappointed us last time.
We wanted those.
I know it wasn't.
We wanted those so bad.
All right, so
Lewis is playing Colosso Fuentes' landstill deck that he
Okay.
got from the Hatfield Brothers for Charlotte, except he's added these compounds to it.
Okay.
okay.
And I'm unaware of what Byron King is playing, but it looks like
Byron King has got Merfolk. Okay, so
Okay, so we've got a Crucible. I'm sorry, Engineer Explosives on one.
he's top 8 in Charlotte.
okay.
Yeah, Lewis Laskin is playing a land still deck that apparently came from Colosso.
Colosso Fuentes just missed top 8 in Charlotte on Breakers with Laskin's list. So with his own list, which Laskin is playing here.
Byron plays a Silver Gill Adept, revealing I think that was a Mirror Regery.
It was a Merfolk. He has them. That's
Yes.
the thing. It's kind of like,
he's
well,
got-
you know, I got it.
It's got
Pretty
the
much
vial
every
out,
part.
it's got
Those
the
Wastelands may as well say Merfolk on them.
I know, right? Wasteland to Wasteland from Lewis. And Lewis also cracks his flooded strand there to find an underground sea. And he pops it to take out. He pops the Engineer Explosives to take out the Aether Vial. Yep. Losing that vial is going to be pretty big. Seven copies of Mental Misstep between the two decks in the main. Attacks with the Silver Gill Adept. And passes back to Lewis. Lewis is going to play a second Wasteland. And he's going to play Bob. Dark
There's
Confidant
Bob.
comes down.
The great one. For those of you who don't know your Magic history about Bob Maher, I suggest you Google Pro Tour Chicago '99 and watch that matchup, the finals, Bob Maher versus Brian Davis.
Absolutely.
I watch that thing so often. I love watching that match.
Bob gets dazed, but Lewis pays. A poet, I didn't even realize it.
Not at all.
Silver Gill Adept comes in for 2, and a Mirror Regery follows. That gets forced.
Forced, removing force, and daze for the force.
Bouncing an island.
Resolves.
He reveals a Brainstorm off of Bob, and then draws a card. We've got Tundra, Underground Sea, Wasteland, and Dark Confidant on Lewis's side. Byron has 3 islands, a Mirror Regery, and a Silver Gill Adept.
We keep referring to Dark Confidant as Bob, for those of you who don't know, because Bob Maher won the Invitational and created that card. That was something that they used to do a couple years ago. They just ended it, actually, a couple years ago, where
The last
they would
one
have,
was the Ranger of Eos, right?
I believe so. I think there's still one floating around out there that hasn't been printed yet.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'm not totally sure on that.
Brainstorm
but-
gets Mental Misstep.
There's a mental misstep for a Brainstorm. Absolutely something I expect to see going forward a lot.
Yes.
But yeah, there would be an invitational, just as representatives of different kinds of players and things, and whoever won the invitational would get to design a card which would be printed in a set after being a little bit tweaked by R&D and the guys on the inside. But Bob is arguably the best of the invitational cards.
Crucible of Worlds on Lewis's side. A second Mirror Regery is going to tap Dark Confidant. And is going to attack for, I believe that would be 7.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yep.
Reveals Swords of Plowshares off of Dark Confidant. Crucible of Worlds with Wasteland is such an awesome combo, but it's kind of irrelevant in this matchup. He can, of course, he's got Horizon Canopy, he can keep sacking that.
Yeah, he can reuse more than Wasteland.
Right.
So that's what he does here. Sacks the Horizon Canopy for a card. Passes back to Byron.
But against decks with pretty color-intensive mana bases, such as Lewis Laskin's own mana base. Okay, so Byron comes in with the team. Mental misstep for the Swords of Plowshares, and Lewis, in response, casts a Meditate. I believe that is. Is that Meditate?
I missed it. It's off camera.
Does he have it in his deck? No, what was that? Alright, it must have been some sort of different foil version of that, of whatever card that was, that I don't know. Did he actually cast that? Oh, it was a counterspell. I'm sorry. It was a foil counterspell. My fault.
Okay.
It's one of the counterspells I don't see as often. Might have actually been a 7th edition foil.
He's got an Enlightened Tutor in hand, and that's his only card. He's taking a look through his graveyard. He's at 1 life. Draws for the turn. It's a Force of Will. Not going to do him any good. He can't hard cast it. He can't soft cast it. Actually, he can hard cast it now, but I still don't know that that's going to do him any good. Gets a Horizon Canopy back and sacks it. No, can't get there. Can't find an answer for that Silvergill Adept. So going into game 2 with Byron King taking game 1 over Lewis Laskin. Byron King Triton playing the Merfolk. Sorry, that was a Little Mermaid reference.
Wow.
Oh, gosh.
Wow, what a deep reference there. You really went into the tank for that
Triton. Hey, we're in Orlando. I've got Disney on the mind.
It's true.
We're not that far from Disney World. You tweeted a picture of Ariel, Little Mermaid, a couple days ago.
I sure did. That's the second Little Mermaid reference
this weekend. Yeah, great. Well, yours was on Twitter at least. Mine was on SCG Live during a match for posterity.
Yeah, committed forever to the archive.
Well, his last name's King. I just was like, King Triton. Great.
Engineer Explosives.
His name isn't Eric
Definitely
Prince.
comes in.
Because Prince Eric is the name of... At least I'm pretty sure of that. Sorry. Engineered Explosives obviously seems to come like it would be great for great against Merfolk.
Smothers, Dark Blast.
Yeah.
All seem pretty good.
He's got 2 more Dark Confidants in the board. I think that's probably pretty good to add. And I mean, I don't know why he doesn't have the main. I always wonder, if you're playing Dark Confidant, play Dark Confidant. But
right.
Laskin's known for thinking differently than a lot of others, especially, at these events. He tends to show up with some crazy tech, or at least some different ideas. We mentioned Counterspell in the matchup we thought we were going to see, but here he's playing Counterspell here. Counterspell, actually good in Legacy, but doesn't show up as often as you'd expect. Right. Not as good as something like Force of Will, or not as ubiquitous as something like Force of Will, and now Mental Misstep probably also edging out Counterspell for space in blue decks. The Merfolk deck, taking a look at the sideboards. Here we've got Sower of Temptation, Echoing Truth, Energy Flux, Nullrod, Lawan, Jite, Submerge, Ravenous Trap, Relic of Progenitus. So he didn't get to see much of Lewis's deck.
Yeah, he only saw a Bob in terms of creatures. So.
Right, I'm sure he saw the green mana though, and thus would likely bring in Submerge, or at least maybe take a gamble.
Yeah.
Expecting that there's green creatures in there, probably expecting maybe Goyfs or Knight of the Reliquary, which is actually what's here. There are no Tarmogoyfs in Lewis's list. Just 2 Knight of the Reliquary for green creatures, but it's something that we may see. I kind of think, if knowing the deck list, I don't think I'd bring it in.
It doesn't seem like enough. I mean, again, like Knight of the Reliquary is there, but he didn't see it.
Right. So basically, he can just put a Bob on top, or a Knight is basically his only options. Wait, what manlands? Any Mishra's Factory. Okay, so he could put Mishra's Factory on top,
or
too.
Creeping Tar Pit. There's a single.
Oh, didn't even see that. Oh, but hiding at the top of the list.
But more importantly, neither did Byron. So
right.
So he might not think to do that. We'll see what he actually brings in here. You can sideboard 15 cards, but if you don't draw any of them, it's kind of irrelevant.
Just to repeat, the match from Pro Tour 99, Pro Tour Chicago 99, that I recommend is Brian Davis versus Bob Maher. It's the finals of Pro Tour Chicago 99.
Such an amazing.
It was an extended tournament. I'll talk about it in a second.
Sure. Yeah, we've got an Island and an Aether Vial from Byron, and top one, turn 1 from Lewis, turn 2 Creeping Tar Pit from Lewis. So the secret is out. Lewis does have a Creeping Tar Pit in his deck. Silver Gill Adept, Revealing Mirror Readery. We've seen this movie before.
Yeah. It's not called The Little Mermaid, but you may think it might be. So we were also asked on Twitter whether or not there was some kind of snow-covered tech in here, but no, he's just playing snow-covered islands because the art's really awesome. At least that would be my guess, because I personally love the art on the snow-covered islands. There's a Mishra's Factory. So 2 man lands, 2 tops on the Laskin side of the board. Dark Blast for the Silvergill Adept.
Mm-hmm. Dark Blast is a good card.
Really good against Merfolk.
Pretty brutal.
Essentially, can give a creature -2/-2, you know?
True.
And there's a Curse Catcher.
Vialed in. Actually vialed in, thank you.
Yep, vialed in off of the Aether Vial. We've set up an obstacle course here for Glenn.
Yes, we have. We're going to have tires down in a few rounds. So now Byron plays a Mirror Readery. Casts it, notably. Does have Aether Vial out.
No, Megan can give him back. Just double check it. But
no. Second top from Lewis.
Swords to Plowshares off the top of his deck. Passes a turn. Not a lot of action for Laskin. I mean, I guess compared to all the Merfolk on the other side of the board. Aether Vial. Looks like...
Vial bringing a Silver Gill Adept.
At least that's what looked like it was about to happen.
Doesn't have to... doesn't have to reveal.
Right, off of a Vial, right.
Right.
He uses the top to dredge back a Dark Blast. Is that what just happened?
Yeah.
And then he cracked a fetch, cracked a Flooded Strand. And he used a card to target another card, but we're not exactly sure what it was. Can we switch shots for shot?
Sorry, so there was a Swords that did something. Dark Blast
I think it was the Swords may have gotten rid of something. Dark Blast got rid of something. We have no more. Swords took out a Readery because it's over there exile. See it?
Right.
Dark Blast took out the Silvergill Adept. I always want to call it Merfolk Adept. I mean, it is a Merfolk Adept, right? But
Wasteland comes down from Byron, and a Merfolk Sovereign.
Curse Catcher into the red zone, and for Byron. Wasteland, the Mistress Factory.
Doesn't seem like a bad plan.
It is the easier mana to activate there, so.
It's true. I may have gone for the tar pit myself, but that's also, I have the list and I know he only has one.
Right.
It's unblockable. But he can, of course, trade with something if he doesn't make his own creature unblockable. So we're going to brainstorm from Lewis. Really got to hold those nowadays against Merfolk and make sure they resolve. Can't just go digging for it. Plays a Horizon Canopy here. Taps 2 mana and he smothers. I believe that would be the Merfolk Sovereign gets smothered. And he comes in with a weaker Curse Catcher, but pressure is pressure is pressure. Comes a second Aether Vial. Has he left the 1 on 2? The first Aether Vial?
I believe so, yes. Yeah, it looks definitely like that's a 2. There's Pernicious Deed. Whew. Pretty good against Merfolk. Pretty good against...
He can pop it right now and kill all 3 of them permanents, if it resolves. And it does. He would also take out his top. He can also top in response, of course. Protect it.
Yep. Curse Catcher, just the Curse Catcher beats pretty much what Byron's been doing.
Yeah. You just got to keep being aggressive, keep getting in there. I'm surprised he doesn't come down with the Mutavault, or didn't try to come in with the Mutavault too.
Yeah, I wonder what that's about.
Oh, if he activates it, then the deed gets it.
A gnat
flying around. Yeah. No, but yeah, if he activates the Mutavault, the deed will take it out as it kills creatures.
Okay.
So he probably is holding that, force him to use it, so he still has some pressure on the board.
Yep. Makes sense.
Plays a Flooded Strand there, passes back. Lewis does. Lewis does have a blocker back now for the Curse Catcher.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's kind of a stalemate here because, you know, Byron doesn't want to use his vials to violate anything big or cast anything big because he's got the mana right now to just up and I guess at this point, now he can, it's probably less worry for him to lose the Mutavault.
Yeah.
Than to lose everything else in his hand. Or, like, you know, anything else big you might commit to the board with Lewis with so much mana open and a deed sitting there open.
Yeah, I mean, right now things are really looking good for Lewis. Just that deed is making such an impact. And there it goes.
I like how he deeded for 3. So I'm guessing one of the vials was actually on 3.
Yeah, I think at this point it was.
So
when he was putting the other one up to 2 and put the first one up to 3, so he had 2 and 3.
So deed for 3 is really strong there because he could have violed something in quick in response
but he
and
had no way of doing it. Yeah.
Yep.
Laskin commits a Knight of the Reliquary to the board. Things swinging decidedly in Laskin's favor for the moment. Laskin on 10 life, but has some board presence where Byron just has 4 islands, and that's it. And here comes a Coral Helm Commander, not a Coral Helm EDH. Oh, Umuzawa's GT, that's big. And levels up his commander.
General. I'm just kidding.
Wait, EDH.
Top.
Another Mistress Factory.
Expensive Mistress Factory.
It's cold on that one.
You're definitely not paying for the climate.
True.
In comes the Knight of the Reliquary.
How big is that Knight?
Yeah, how big is Knight of the Reliquary?
Half on the Coral Helm Commander. That'll keep him safe from the GT for a little while.
5/5. 5/5 currently. Can be as big as a 7/7 at will from Lewis, with his fetch and his Horizon Canopy there.
Yep.
Lewis going to top again. I think I saw a standstill and another Pernicious Deed. He's coming in for 7 here. Lewis attacking with his Mistress Factory and his Knight. Lewis seems to be firmly in control of this game at this point. This guy's going to have to wasteland that guy eventually. Wasteland from Byron on the Mistress Factory. Still going to take 6 now, which is still a 1-turn clock. He needs to answer right here. We're going to game 3.
That's a Mistress Factory.
That's a blocker.
Yep.
But he tops
Top
into a wasteland.
Yep.
He's got it. And we're going to game 3.
All right. So Lewis Laskin managing to keep the fish off the board.
That's right.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say we may actually see the submerges now that he's seen the Knight.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so
there's more
Byron,
creatures to deal with. Yeah.
Like now that he sees that, you know, Lewis does in fact have more creatures than his 1-Dark Confidant in the deck.
We're going to get a shot from the booth here. As you can see, you'll see, I'm going to tweet it. Our camera, but in the background there, which is actually the focus of the shot, Nick Spagnola wearing a pink shirt and Laskin's pink hat from yesterday. There he is. Let's see if I can get him as he comes closer, if he walks this way. Walk this way. Oh, here he comes. I think he's coming this way. All right, so nice. I'll tweet that from the SCG Live account. I guess that was a win. Looks pretty happy.
I was holding up
the match slip.
If he's walking the match slip up, then it better be a win.
Yeah.
His opponent
is in trouble.
He's a jerk.
So, I don't think I showed you the background on my phone.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Surgical extraction. I really love the artwork for it.
Yeah, it's great. Hate the Biobox art.
I like that one too, actually.
I mean, I like it.
I saw that one first,
not as much as the other one.
Players, we have a top 8.
It's a little more, better frame of reference of what's going on in that one. I think
3 players achieved a 3-0.
I agree.
In first place, Alex Horn. In second place, John Howell. And in third place, Joe Panaccio.
Oh, me? Oh, no.
Sounded like almost your name.
Joe Panaccio.
6 players achieved a 2-0-1 record with 7 points, meaning that 4th through 9th place all have 7 points. In order, Anthony Wilson, Geddes Cooper, Alex Bertocini, Isaiah Lee, and Aaron LeBlanc.
It's
So Alex?
Standing
Sounds like
will
he's
be
in the
posted
draft open.
momentarily. If you are in the top 8, Alex Horn, John Howell, Joe Panaccio,
I keep thinking they're saying my name. They're saying Joe Panaccio.
Isaiah Lee, and Aaron LeBlanc, please come to the main event stage.
So, I wonder if he's trying to play both today. So Byron starts off with an Aether Vial.
He's done it all 3 games, hasn't he?
Do what?
Hasn't he started off with the Aether Vial all 3 games?
He sure has. I thought you were talking about Alex again. I was like, what? Lewis plays a Tundra into a Sensei's top. Byron puts a counter on his Vial, naturally. Passes the turn. Slow start for Byron this game. Lewis plays a Tundra and passes right back. So we're going to play a little draw go here for not too much longer, I imagine, against Murphle, or with Murphle on the cameras here. Is he holding a 1-lander? I think he's holding a 1-lander, but I guess the Vial will get you there.
Yep.
There's a Coral Helm Commander.
I'm sure that's exactly why he kept it.
And he can level up with that. So Lewis is going to brainstorm here. Lewis does see an Engineered Explosive, so that if he has a 3rd land, he can play and crack next turn to take out the Vial.
Take out the Vial,
and
right.
cripple Byron pretty heavily.
Yeah.
And he tops post brainstorm. He sees that counter spell that I couldn't identify last round. But he draws
7th edition foil.
I don't think it standstill he drew. Yep. So he's going to play the explosives, and he's on 1. And if that resolves, mental misstep on engineered explosives on 1.
Wow, there's a power of a powerful mental misstep.
Which will get mental misstep in return.
Yeah, I drink your milk.
Here we go. I drink your milkshake. Mental misstep on the mental misstep.
Oh my gosh.
That was on the mental misstep.
Triple mental misstep. And counterspell.
That's counterspell.
Don't misstep my counterspell.
Force of will.
Force the counterspell. He is so protecting that Vial.
He just knocked a counterspell off the top of his deck. He just smacked into cards on top of his deck.
He threw his cards into the graveyard and knocked over his library a little bit. And we go. I guess he's gonna. I don't know what he's doing. Why the judge is taking it? But
I think he may be counting the library at this point.
Seems like a good point.
Just to make sure that all those cards were actually on top of the library.
Yeah. So, let's just recount the last action that we saw. Laskin attempts to resolve a engineered explosives on 1.
Right.
Byron mental missteps it.
Right.
Laskin mental missteps Byron's mental misstep.
Right.
Byron mental missteps Laskin's mental misstep. Laskin goes to counterspell Byron's mental misstep. Byron force of wills Laskin's counterspell. That was
such
quite
an
a counter
exciting
war.
series of plays there. That was so much fun.
Quite the counter war. And he does manage to protect his Aether Vial, which
he absolutely needed to do.
Yeah, because
there's
there's
no
one
question.
land. Level the commander, Violin, Lord of Atlantis, in with Coral Helm Commander. Excuse me.
It should at this point be a 4/4. So level 2 gives him flying, makes him a 3/3. And here comes an explosives on 2. Can't mental misstep that. That's pretty good.
Yeah. I believe that Vial went up to 3 though. Looks like 3 counters.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And he blows the explosives sweeping Byron's boards, and Byron left with a vial on 3 and a single island. Well, that vial is pretty much the threat on board right now.
Yeah.
Laskin has a divining top and 3 lands, one of which is a Mishra's Factory. Can be a threat, but I think it's the vial that's the threat.
Nice. Awesome. Mary is, I believe, is 3-0 so far in the day.
Mary, who top 8'd in DC, the legacy portion with the Zoo.
Playing Zoo, yep. So I believe that's what she's playing here. I'm not sure.
I think she said she liked that deck a lot, so I would be surprised if she wasn't. So after Laskin activates his top, Byron vials in a Mero Reedry.
Geddes Cooper to the main event stage, please. Geddes Cooper.
Important to note that creatures vialed in do not trigger his ability.
Yeah, exactly. They're not cast.
But ones that are cast that are countered still do.
Exactly, because they are cast.
Yes.
Even if they're countered.
Yes.
I'm just clarifying.
Right.
Joking around. Yeah.
No, I know. It sounded like you were trolling me for a sec.
Right. Is that my pen? I have pens just like that.
I don't know. I take a bunch of them from like
I don't
Spiral.
care. I have one in my pocket.
People leave them all the time.
I just happen to notice it. It's not like they're not popular pens.
Well, we've got a pernicious deed in Laskin's hand.
Yeah, things are looking grim for Byron at the moment, especially
Although he doesn't have a
considering-
black mana source, so he can't actually cast it. But he can maybe top into it.
Yeah, I don't know that he was. He needs the deed right now anyway. He's relatively safe. It's just a 2/2 that he's facing down, and at 14 life, he's got plenty of time.
Business,
oh yeah, absolutely. He wants to get rid of the vial, but I'm just trying to say, like, saving the deed to take out more may actually be a better idea.
Yeah.
You know, slow rolling the deed. He's not really slow rolling it, but he doesn't have the mana for it anyway.
He's in a pretty comfortable position, but I think he's going to.
Looks like he's going for it. He just went for an Underground Sea and tapped 3.
He probably won't pop it right now, but you know.
Yeah, but he's gonna make it available.
He will definitely make sure that
And he has-
Byron knows what he's got. You know?
In hand, Standstill and Swords to Plowshares in Laskin's hand. Byron, on the other hand, has Laskin's deck in his hand, but now has. I'm trying to see. It's difficult to tell what he's got. I see Sower of Temptation, very relevant against Knight of the Reliquary and Dark Confidant.
He could even up the vial to 4 and bring it in to steal a Mishra's Factory,
He could.
which is kind of hilarious. That's the only threat on the board, man. You know, sometimes you got to do it.
So he cracks the deed for 3, which and plays Standstill.
That's fun.
Yeah, so right now he's gonna just beat down with Mishra's Factory until Byron pops that Standstill and gives him an opportunity to do something else.
Finally, a second land from Byron.
Second Snow-Covered Island from Byron, and right now on board we've got a Standstill from Lewis Laskin, alongside 6 lands, 2 of which is our Mishra's Factory. So that looks like the plan right now. Well, until Byron just broke the standstill by casting a Silvergill Adept, revealing a Merfolk, which I did not commit to memory, even though I definitely saw it. Quickly was forgotten.
Gets his cards off a standstill. Mission accomplished there.
Yeah.
And
Knight of the Reliquary from Laskin. So now on board, quite a different look. No longer a standstill. Force of Will.
Moving mentalistic.
For the Knight of the Reliquary. I think that's pretty big right there. I mean, he needed to do that.
James Bishop.
Laskin with 6 lands in play, 3 tapped, 3 untapped. Plays Dark Confidant. Byron lets it resolve, and Laskin passes his turn. Byron untaps his now 2 islands.
Yes.
And he's got a Silvergill Adept, and now a 3rd land, one of which is a Mutavault, or it's just recently added to the board, Mutavault. So now he's got Byron casts Curse Catcher, and Merfolk doing what Merfolk does, surviving off of 2 lands, now 3. He's got he's plenty threatening. So Laskin just took three damage off of the Bob, or lost 3 life, that is, off of the Dark Confidant revealing Knight of the Reliquary. Knight of the Reliquary looks like it's about to hit the board, and it's on the stack. There it is. Byron, I believe, letting it resolve.
Yep.
Yeah. And Bob swinging in for 2. So the life total's now Lewis Laskin at 10. Byron King should be at 12 momentarily. Yeah, there it is.
Players, just a reminder.
Byron playing in Umezawa GT. Pretty huge.
I feel like every play right now is just like completely changing the
Changing the
landscape.
scope of the game.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. Swords on Silvergill Adept.
Yeah, swords on your big dude, which happens to just be a 2/1.
Right.
That was at EOT, so gain that 2 life back.
Brainstorm's gonna happen here.
Yep.
Got another deed there.
Flooded Strand off of Bob, and an additional card, of course, for the turn. Pays 3 for what is that? Is it Seal of Cleansing?
Oh, okay.
That's what it is. Nice, nice follow-up to that there, Umezawa's GT.
Yeah, really.
Nice artifact.
You can just hold that there until Byron tries to equip or play something a little more threatening, maybe.
Basically, he just killed the GT on board without actually needing to do anything with it. I mean, he had to cast a seal, but I mean, it's a dead card. Now, no reason for Byron to even try to equip unless he has something else. Unless he really wants to blow that seal and has something else he'd rather play. Now, looking at his list, he's got more GTs.
Yep. Sower takes the Knight of the Reliquary.
And there's the Seal of Cleansing takes out the Umezawa's GT. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Don't laugh.
Okay, we're back.
Get a hold of yourself.
Right here, but we left for a second.
The things I don't notice until it's too late. Nothing on board, but that I'm talking about, but
I'll stick with my no comment that I wrote down earlier.
yeah. So Academy Ruins off of Dark Confidant. It's funny, you know, Counter Top is an awesome combo, but Bob Top is really good too.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's nothing new.
I think that's another one of the reasons why Travis was so excited to play the Dark Zoo or whatever?
Dark Horizons
Dark
junk.
Horizons. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There's Jace the Mind Sculptor. Happens to be a foil as well. Brainstorms for 4 cards instead of 3.
That's right. Bounces 2 creatures instead of 1.
Right. Everything is. He also costs 5 mana to cast. Wait, that's not right either. Looking at Laskin's list, he's just got 3 Jaces in the main. He just was curious if he's subscribing to the 4 Jace format theory that we've heard.
He's 3/4 of the way there.
Absolutely. As slow as it seems like this game is going, and as bad as it looked for Byron, like he's really trying to stay into it, but it's looking really good for Laskin. Until that Sower of Temptation just came down, that's going to make things interesting. Steal your Knight.
Yeah, he's just going to keep bouncing. Like, he just keeps Jace bouncing with the Sower.
Yeah, but then that Knight just goes back and forth, tapped.
It's definitely keeping, keeping Byron alive.
Yeah, so
that was another
Mistress Factory. He may actually have a better answer for Sower, not sure, but there's a deed. Jace bounced the knight. Yeah, that seems like a better play.
Yep. Yeah, now he barely has to worry about Sower. If he has a removal spell for it, all the better. I think he'll gladly trade Bob right now. Getting down to such a precarious life total. Takes the damage there from Horizon Canopy, plays the Knight of the Reliquary. Wasteland on Mutable. He's trying really hard to just decimate Byron's board position and
doing pretty good
decisively win this game. He's at the top here. I don't know if we saw much. Just sees a bunch of land, I think. Third Mishra's Factory comes down.
Jace likely to brainstorm here.
Activating two, bounces the 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's a 6/6. That could be lethal. Yep, it sure is.
All right, Laskin takes the match in 3 with his standstill deck.